talk to us about how the last few weeks have gone, doing all the workouts, making all these decisions. What's it been like for you, A, all that travel, and B, just how emotional all of that has been?
Yeah, it was good. The decision really only happened this past week, so it feels very fresh. But the workouts and stuff like that was, they were a grind for sure. Dealing with the foot injury would have, I think, without that would have been a lot easier. I really didn't have any time off at all. It was through the airports and being on the planes and being in different places and having not a lot of time to put it up and rest and all that stuff. So. But it was fun for me to be able to see different buildings and meet different people and travel to some cities in the U.S. that I haven't been to before. Like that was all fun, but the evaluation process is kind of brutal, and I'm glad that it's over and going to a place where I feel like I'm wanted, and that's exciting to me.
What are the 2 years here? Did they help? Did it help prepare you for what you're going through down the road?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I think I think, first of all, in just terms of just learning how to be a professional and how to carry out your business and prepare for each week, I think that sometimes, even in the NFL, you have guys who are drafted and they're really young and they're in their early 20s, and, a lot of things have been handed to them, and you got to kind of figure that out while you're in the NFL. And I've had the luxury of being here and learning from someone like Mike Riley and Brian Burnhams and being able to see how they do it, and I didn't have to play right away, and I got to watch a little bit, and then I had to deal with you all, and how to navigate that, and I think those are just things that are going to help me and prepare me for what might come in the future.
Even the play this year, like the performance you had this year, that obviously skyrocketed your chances down there. Like if you had had a bad year here, it wouldn't have helped going to look for a job.
Yeah, I think
the opportunity to perform here at a high level enhanced your chances there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't think if I had the year that I did, I don't think we're having this conversation.
I noticed you used the word "we" a lot in this process about the decision that you guys made. Who else kind of gave you input and advice and about this decision for you?
Yeah, it was my fiance, number one, and then my parents and my brother and all people that I trust, and then other people in my corner that that I value their opinions and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think I've lucked out with a very supportive group that no matter what I did, whatever I chose, they were going to be behind me. So a lot of people's opinions that I asked for and I valued, but I think ultimately it came down to what I thought was best for me. So
I know I didn't get that call, so.
With that,
like you talked about the year that you had, it was so good, but the prevailing sentiment seemed to be 8 games wasn't enough for a lot of teams, and then that narrative switched at some point. I think it was right around this time your workout started. Was that something that you noticed, or was that more of an external view?
I think it's probably an external view. I had no idea what was going on with the NFL. I told my agent at the beginning of the year that I didn't want to hear about it and just keep it under wraps, and then I got hurt, and so at that point, when I initially got hurt, they thought that I wouldn't be back for the season, so that's when I started getting an update of what had happened and found out that the response had been positive, but then I started feeling like I could get back, and so you kind of shut that door again and until the season's done, and then again after the season was over, I kind of found out what we were at and how rigorous the workout schedule was going to be. So that's from my end. That's how it went.
How's the foot feeling?
Good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the hardware out in the end of the month. I'll get it done here with the same doctor, and then we'll go from there. I don't know what the plan is yet, but I'm glad to have some time to rest it and focus on rehab for sure, rather than just getting workout to workout.
Henry Burris is part of the Jacksonville. What kind of impact did that have, having a guy that played in the Canadian Football League, also had some NFL experience? How much of the benefit is that for you, do you think, having a person like that in that organization?
Yeah, it's huge. I think that, I've been very lucky with him because we got the chance to know each other very briefly last off season, and a guy that thinks highly of me, and obviously I think the world of him, and I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to really work with him in Jacksonville. And I had a chance to speak with him when I was down there in the workout. He gave me some really good advice. He went through this himself, and he said if he could do it again, he would have liked to have stayed in the CFL just because of his timing and the situation he went down to. He ended up being, the 3 and kind of buried in the depth chart there, I think behind Doug Peterson with Green Bay back in the day. And he said that the situation wasn't right for him, but if there's a situation that's right where I can see a chance to be able to play at some point, then I should take it, and that's what I'm doing. So I appreciate the advice, and I've been in contact with him throughout the process.
You're a very competitive guy, Nathan. Yeah, you're going to compete to be backup. Well, where do you think you'll get the bulk of your playing time? Because Trevor Lawrence looked great in the second half, right, on the weekend, right? He's a young guy. You're actually a year older than him. Do you change your expectations, or do you know, like, this is what it's going to be? I'm going to do my best for 2 years to try to become the best backup that I can be, and then see where we go from there?
Yeah, I think that that's something we weighed during the process, right? But I think that, being on an NFL team and getting NFL film, whether it's preseason or regular season, is really important to being able to solidify yourself as an NFL starter. I don't think it's happening if you're playing another year in the CFL. I just don't. And I think that the goal right now is to be in a position where I'm a play away from playing. You never know what happens in the NFL, not to sound morbid, but things happen in professional football, and that was my goal in 21, was to just be a play away and prepare like I'm going to be a starter, and that's not going to change in Jacksonville. And I'm not, like you said, I'm not there to compete with Trevor. I think he's a fantastic quarterback, and like you said, he had a great game this past weekend, and wish him nothing but the best this year, and I'll be there to support him next year. But my job is to create a job for myself down there. And you never know what happens. Play well in the preseason, another team could like you, and you go from there. But I think going down there and being a part of that process is the best way to solidify a job in the future.
Taking away the business side of things, have you been able to step back, look at what you've done here for the last year, and then say to yourself, holy shit, I am going to the NFL finally? Yeah,
it hasn't sunk into too much at this point, because I'm still here in BC, and I'm still living in my parents' house, and when I get down there, I think it'll sink in a little bit more.
And I know you've just signed, and this is all a new road, but have you put a timeline on this? Like how long are you willing to put yourself into that situation, and if something doesn't happen in 3 years, 4 years, have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, not really. I think that when the time comes and you understand, I think you have a feeling when you're in it. I think that's just going to be a feeling thing that you're going to have to feel on the fly.
Nathan, we all know that the Canadian quarterback who succeeds at the highest level is a pretty rare breed. Do you feel extra pressure because of where you come from, or any of that?
No, I mean, the thing that's funny about that is that when I go down to the States, or at least my experience was when I went down to the States, is that was more of a nuanced thing than it was up here, So people are more, I think a lot of times they're more surprised than anything that you're from Canada, and it's less of a thing that's attached to you, and it's more just, all right, I mean, that's where it's from. So that's how it was in school, and we'll see if that is the way down there, but I don't feel any added pressure. I'm just excited for the opportunity.
I'm sure a lot of people have reached out over the last few days. Is there anyone who's surprised you?
I just heard from a lot of people that I went to school in Alabama that are reconnecting and realizing that we're going to be pretty close. So it might be cool to reconnect with some of the people I went to high school with, and just because of the proximity. So.
Who were your top 4? Like when you're making the decision, came down to it, papers on the table. Who were your top 4 teams in the offers?
Really a top 3. It was Jacksonville, Cleveland, and Vegas. Those are the 3 teams. And just kind of, by the end of it, it was obvious that Jacksonville was the best out of those 3 for sure. So.
JJ's a Raiders fan, so you just broke his heart.
I'm glad you went to Jacksonville. Vegas is in a bad spot right now. That's me saying it, don't worry.
I heard you say earlier about, like you said, you all. Is that a phrase you got to work on to say it the way they say it?
I think you all is well, here's the thing about that. I think that one of the things that I've said when I've been up here has been a lot of you guys, and I think that's as inclusive as you all or y'all, but they didn't. And even though that's more inclusive, that wasn't their intention at all, right, when they said that. So I think you all is just a better way of being inclusive, but also not being American. So.
Nathan, have you done anything to celebrate?
Yeah, honestly, no. I've. It's just, yeah. We've known for a couple of days, and so and the process has been pretty exhausting. So I think just the dust clearing is relief enough. You know,
When are you getting married?
we're getting married in June.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that a training camp?
No.
Oh.
No, it's not. No.
Nathan, any highlights with the BC Lions in the last couple of years that you can kind of share with us? Any moments that stick out with you that you can let us know that meant a lot to you?
Yeah, I think the 22 season was super special. I think that there was a lot of good memories and particularly cool moments that I remember. Just, I mean, the first game with running out onto the field with all the people there. You know, some big wins in Calgary and at Mosaic, and you know, the comeback in Calgary the first time, and the 2 wins at Mosaic, and just you know, doing some special things with this group. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's a group that I'm not going to forget anytime soon. I think that they've kind of raised my expectations in terms of what a CFO or a professional locker room should be like, and what we should feel like, and how you should feel for your teammates, and you know, how, you know, if you're really bought in, you know, how you should come to work every single day. Like, this group has really set that precedent for me, and so I think throughout my career I'm going to be looking at this group and being like, this is where the bar is set, and really fortunate for that, to be a part of that.
You and Brian Burnham shared that emotional moment at the end of the game, and we talked to him about that, and he said that he knew you weren't coming back.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said, and he said that he knew he wasn't coming back. Can you just talk about that exchange?
Well, at the moment, I didn't know that I wasn't coming back. I was asked after that game if I was coming back, which was too soon. It's a shame on you. But and I honestly, I said what I felt at the time was that I wanted to return. The NFL wasn't on my mind at that point. I was just very deeply disappointed in my own performance and the fact that, you know, Burnham wasn't going out the way that he should have. So, I would say that I'm appreciative of his support. You know, he said it, had a nice tweet on Twitter. So, and honestly, the rest of the guys, you know, there hasn't been any negative feedback from anybody. Everyone's been very, very supportive. I think they're very understanding, and so that means a lot during this, where it was truly a difficult decision.
I know I joked at the beginning when we started about your Canadian to the core, but did you wear that for a reason, and is there something you want to pass on to the fans of the CFL, because it's been a long time since we've seen somebody like you, forget about just what he did for the BC Lions, what we did for this Canadian Football League. Is there a message you'd like to pass on to the fans?
Yeah, I'm just appreciative of being able to play. I mean, it was amazing to play at BC Place in front of so many people, and to be a part of what, you know, brought people back into BC Place. That was really fun and really special. But to also go to away stadiums and to find people that are cheering for you, and you know, that was really special as well. And we have a lot of passionate fans in the CFL, and I hope that the, you know, supporting Canadians in the CFL continues, and for the next batch of Canadian quarterbacks or Canadian players, whatever it might be, I hope that continues, and I'm just really grateful to have experienced that, and it truly was special.
So do you join that contingent of Lions fans now?
Absolutely, yeah, I'm rooting for the team next year. Absolutely, a lot of guys that I'm hoping to keep in contact with, and sure I'll be able to make it to a game or something like that.